जब भी मैं इस बाबरी ढांचे को देखता हूँ तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है जैसे किसी ने मेरे बाप को मार के उनकी लाश को टांग दिया है और नीचे लाठी लेके खड़ा है, कह रहा हिम्मत है तो आके अपनी बाप की लाश को लेकर जा. While living in such dire conditions, your family could retain their Hindu sanskar.
In South Africa, we have to say salute to the mothers. If the mother is strong in her sanskar, the children will remain.
Then you came to Ayodhya in 2006.
And then my heart was broken. I could not believe that. I was thinking, but how could Indians be so careless with Ayodhya? It was easy for people to just make a mockery of India. They would laugh at India only because the people who had been there would say it's so dirty and so difficult, the roads are so bad, and it was. It was like that.
How do one protect one's own culture with the predators roaming around?
I think when you Ram Bhakt, Hanuman Bhakt, you get that Shakti, and I'm very straight. You know, Sanatan is a science beyond science.
In 1992, the church, they asked for this forgiveness.
They killed them for saying that the sun was at the center of the earth.
In 1992.
Even this one religion that is saying the earth is flat.
What do you see from here?
If people haven't come to Bharat, and if they come and see how it operates, how there are masjids and there are gurdwaras and mandirs, and everybody is...
The lockdown of
COVID, and there's so many different languages. I'm a Sanatani, and this is Modi ji is respected, in most places in the world.
Now you have also visited Ayodhya?
I just cried for about 10 minutes because I was like, wow. And I'd seen the difference in Mumbai. I was like, wow, India is really moving forward at a very fast pace.
प्रारब्ध के सभी दर्शकों को मेरा नमस्कार. मेरा नाम है संदीप आर.के. सिंह और आज की जो मेरी गेस्ट है, आज की वो सिर्फ गेस्ट नहीं है, वो एक कहानी है तमाम हिंदुओं की, तमाम भारतीयों की जो बाहर गए कभी, चाहे 100 साल पहले, चाहे 200 साल पहले, उनके परिवार बाहर गए और वो कैसे, चाहे अनचाहे, प्राकृतिक रूप से, चाहे जिस तरीके से, वो सनातन रह गया उनमें कहीं, और किस प्रकार से उन सारे परिवारों का कनेक्शन आज भी भारत से है. वो भारत उनके साथ बाहर कैसे वो महसूस करते हैं, बाकी लोग उनको कैसे ट्रीट करते हैं, भले ही वो 150-200 साल से बाहर रह रहे हों. तो ये सिर्फ एक इंसान की कहानी नहीं है दर्शकों, और ये पूरे हमारे सनातन समाज की है जो विश्व भर में फैला हुआ है. और एक उनकी कहानी से हम उस पूरे व्यापक जो भी हमारे भारतीय बाहर हैं उनको समझने का प्रयास करेंगे. प्लस ये हमारा जो आज का पॉडकास्ट है, चूँकि वो बाहर से हैं, साउथ अफ्रीका से हैं, तो ज़्यादातर ये इंग्लिश में ही होगा. इस कन्वर्सेशन ये जो है अंग्रेज़ी में ही होगा और हिंदी में थोड़ा कम होगा. तो इसके लिए आप तय करें कि वह साउथ अफ्रीकन हैं या वह भारतीय हैं या वह सनातनी हैं, वह क्या है, ये आप हमें अंत तक सुनकर तय करके बताइएगा. Sudhika ji, most welcome on this podcast, Praarabdh podcast.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. So, Sudhika ji, I guess your ancestors went to South Africa way back. So, if you can tell us that story.
Yes. So, I know that my Pardada had left Bihar in 1892.
Okay.
And went to South Africa. Alone, with no other family members.
Okay. So he went there, and then what? How he continued? What did he do?
So when you got there, you were assigned to a farmer, and then you had to work.
So they had been taken by Britishers from here, like Girmitiya Mazdoor.
Girmitiya. Yeah.
Okay.
So you were assigned to a farmer, and you had to work for as long as your contract was given to you. And then after a while, there was an agreement you could go back home or you could stay. But most chose to stay back because at that time, remember, India was still under British Raj. You could not buy land. So I think they thought, we'll stay here because we can buy land and grow.
So things are worse here in India. so they stayed there.
Ji.
So, and of course, then the family tree continued.
Yes.
And what did your grandfather do, and what did your father? Do they they scaled up in the life? When, as you said, your great grandfather started as a laborer, something like that. So, how did the entire family grew?
So in my family,
Hmm.
after my Pardada, my Dada was also in, and his brothers were also involved in farming. The one was a Lohar,
Hmm.
ironsmith, I think.
Yeah.
And so they were still involved in that kind of thing because education, formal education, was not available to Indians until the 1970s. If they did get some education before that, it was purely through convent or missionary schools. And then, too, they were just doing class 1, class 2, not very advanced. If families wanted to educate their children, they would normally, if there were 10 brothers, they'd send the little one to India. And maybe you couldn't become a doctor in South Africa if you were Indian. So you'd have to go overseas. So many had sent their little siblings to India
For education.
for education, even in the 60s and 50s and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So education was very difficult. So Indians did not have very skilled jobs because, most of them would work as waiters in the hotel, or the woman would sell vegetables in the market. And
All the blue collar works.
yes, right up till the 60s, 70s. In fact, my Dadaji, he was actually working with the municipal corporation. And my father then, in his family, was the first person to actually finish school,
Okay.
to finish matric.
Okay.
So then he had taken up different jobs. He could take up different jobs because of the skill level. So it did take us quite a while. Other families were more fortunate. Maybe they could send their brothers to overseas or something. And then there was one university that came up for Indians. But then too, Indians couldn't occupy the space that they do now. You couldn't get engineers and doctors. The best you could do was become a teacher. A teacher or a nurse, something like that.
Okay.
It was very difficult.
So, but they went up ahead in entrepreneurial space, and
Many had, with the market
because Indians,
especially,
by their own habit and by their own sanskar, they're very hardworking.
resourceful.
Huh.
So many had started now. When their indentureship was finished, they could buy land, or maybe the farmer gave them a small piece of land, which they would plant vegetables on. So many had become market agents, selling fruit, vegetable, potatoes, those kinds of things. And obviously, Indians, as apartheid, you may know that we had to live amongst ourselves only.
Okay.
So then the economy amongst our own people grew.
So during apartheid rule, for many of who might not know apartheid, there was a time when whites. This happened till 1992, I guess.
1994.
1994. Nelson Mandela, of course, everybody knows. So that rule, whites were still ruling South Africa, and there was a lot of race. Blacks were being mistreated, and Indians, of course, as she's saying, they were being mistreated, and they had to live in ghettoized colonies, something like that. So they have experienced the British rule till later, till 1994, and
Yes.
we experienced that till 2014. That British rule.
That British rule.
Any which ways. So my question is ki even among while living in such dire conditions, and of course missionaries all around, and Christianity all around, and your family could retain their Hindu sanskar, and how was that? Matlab, do you get to celebrate your festivals? I mean, do you get to do your own traditions maybe?
Yes, no,
Okay.
we definitely kept our traditions. I think in South Africa we have to say salute to the mothers.
Okay.
It was mostly because of if the mother is strong in her sanskar, the children will remain strong. This is a thing I've observed. It wasn't the fathers really; they're not had to any not too much of bearing on what the child would do. Also, during apartheid, there were no swamis that could come from India. We couldn't get that knowledge. Very few, because of the sanctions. I think even India had imposed sanctions upon South Africa due to apartheid. It was such a
lot of
thing.
sanctions, yes.
So it wasn't easy for people to come up and down. So we weren't getting very many people coming. But now it has changed. We get so many learned scholars coming from India. Many are staying there to help the Sanatanis only. So we have mandirs. People had started off with small mandirs. We do have mandirs. We do observe our festivals. We don't get holidays as such. I know here you have the luxury, if it's Ganesh Chaturthi, then chutti. Shri Ram Navami, chutti. For us, that luxury is not there, but in the afternoon, everybody comes home from work, then they go to mandir and they celebrate. And in our home only, we do puja. And in the north, those who are North Indian, almost every home is doing Satnarayan Vrat Katha. That is very popular. And, we most of us can read Hanuman Chalisa. That is there.
And of course, the stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata,
that is
somehow
there.
they get
That is there.
the
That is
system.
there. Even on the good thing was that we had some Indian programming coming in even during apartheid. So even we had seen Ramanan Sagar's Ramayana. So that was good. Even Mahabharata was there too. Free. We didn't even have to pay to watch it. So we were blessed in that way. So yes, people were always curious about India. Not everybody had been. A few people had been. But, for us, even as little children, my sister and I, we would always read Ramayana and think, how will Ayodhya be, because you read the description.
But then you came to Ayodhya in 2006.
And then my heart was broken because what I thought it would be and what it was at that time was, there was the ruins of the masjid there and Ram Lala was in the tent and it was just...
heartbreaking.
Yeah. It was. If I remember that time now, I had never been that disappointed in my whole life. I couldn't believe. Now that at that time I didn't understand Indian geopolitics. I could not believe that. I was thinking, but how could Indians be so careless with Ayodhya? It's a dham. How is this happening? Even Mathura, I went and I was like, Mathura? It was not. It was quite like a shock. Because I thought, wow, it was supposed to be like this 5-star VIP kind of experience, but it wasn't.
Not even a 5-star VIP, but the point is ki at least have some grandness, have
for
some...
Bhagwan,
for
Bhagwan,
Bhagwan.
not for the visitors, not for the visitors, but for Bhagwan, not some tent, it was very sad. And I don't understand how the Sanatanis in Bharat, how they were feeling. I don't know. Because for me, it was just a shock.
I remember one very important line that has been etched in my memory. Sri Champat Rai ji. So he is one of the trustees of Ram Janambhoomi Mandir, Tirthet Nyas. And he was one of a very prominent person of the Ram Janambhoomi Andolan. He was very young when Yogi Adityanath ji's Guru Mahant Avaidhanath ji. So he was in charge of the Ram Janambhoomi Andolan. And he used to say, Sri Champat Rai ji told us that what he used to say in his speeches during 1990s, 1989. I'll just first say in Hindi and then... So, he used to say कि जब भी मैं इस बाबरी ढांचे को देखता हूँ तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है जैसे किसी ने मेरे बाप को मार के उनकी लाश को टांग दिया है और नीचे लाठी लेके खड़ा है, कह रहा हिम्मत है तो आके अपनी बाप की लाश को लेकर जा. So powerful words and powerful emotion. And of course when somebody is saying अच्छा ठीक है, just a ठीक है, it's a structure. But then somebody of the caliber of Mahant Avaidhanath ji or Mahant Digvijayanath ji and the entire, they are seeing it in a very different form. They are seeing the body of Sanatan being mean, how do I say this? And of course, the first experience of even me watching, me having the darshan of Ramlala in tent was a very devastating experience. I still remember that. 2 days I was off, just off. Okay, this even I was once a secular mode. ठीक है, a
I
lot
was
of
also secular.
no, it's not secular, but of course the entire media and everything just give
ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको
it was like
सन्मति
कि,
दे भगवान.
so we had no other conversation, not people like Pushkar and everybody, just we couldn't get to know the other side. It was all कि अरे संघी है, अरे हिंदू है, अरे ये communal and this that. So the entire conversation was being discarded like anything. So we could just get. And why I'm saying this, I'll come to your South Africa. That of course, right now this also happens in your country, South Africa, or maybe the entire world. The leftist media, leftist thoughts, Palestine, Gaza, this gets to everyone. The other side's information, the other side's conversation really don't reach out to children, the next generation. And maybe they must be leaving Hinduism, Sanatan, just because a lot of hate is being filled by the other sides. Is it happening?
The Palestine and Gaza movement is strong in South Africa. You may also know that South Africa actually went to the ICJ, the International Court. They were proudly pro-Palestinian. In fact, I think the Jewish embassy even closed in South Africa. They said they don't want anything to do. The Israeli embassy has closed in South Africa. They said they don't want to have anything to do with South Africa now. And that is, it's a lot of it. They're saying there's apartheid. Even the blacks are saying the same thing, apartheid in Israel. But they've never been to Israel. And one day a black man even phoned into a radio station. He said, but I've been to Israel. They're not bad. He says, Palestinians are the ones that are racist towards me. And then it was a Muslim host. He just cut this man off. He didn't want to hear the truth. They're happy to propagate their propaganda. So what can we do? They're everywhere. I know the toolkit, the media toolkit is there. It's operational everywhere, brother, believe me, not just in India.
No, that's
South Africa, it's there as well.
So we just get to the entire leftist media just takes one side to us, and that's how our mind gets clustered. And with the rise of Sanatan, with the rise of, now you have also visited Ayodhya
Gee.
recently.
Yes,
How was
just
that one?
2 days back. I just cried for about 10 minutes because I was like, wow, from where it was to what it is now. I was just overwhelmed with emotion that, now this is how it should have been only. Why did people have to die for this? Why did we have to suffer for this kind of thing? Because it's our right only,
So coming back to how do you explain this? One person went to some very far distance place, surrounded not only by physical issues, working in a very let's say hard work, labor in very dire conditions. Then of course feeling a lot of social pressure, feeling a lot of other religions pressure, Christianity, this that, and things still after 150 years, you still feel connected to a place called Ayodhya. They should have gone now. Matlab, why does even one person in South Africa care? Why?
Because Sanatan, as we believe, is not a religion. It's everything. And our Sanatan is written in stone, it is written in the air, it is written in the water, it's everywhere. Everywhere. We Sanatanis, we can pray to, if there's no Ganga, we'll pray to Samundar Maya. If there's, Surya is everywhere. We pray to Surya every day. So I think it's the tattva that it kept us alive. The things that we do, the little prayers that we do, it has connected us. We didn't need to see Ayodhya. We didn't need to see the physical, the dham, but we were still connected through that, the belief the understanding that we have that God is everywhere. He's in everything and he's everywhere. Sometimes we can't explain it. I think the elders couldn't explain it. But they knew that they had to offer some jal in the morning to Surya Dev. They had to do
Just
some
do something
yagya.
to remain connected.
They had to remain connected, and you won't believe it that most of the Hindu homes there, as I was telling Mamaji, that they must have brought the seeds over in the ship, because we have tulsi and belpatra, and for the last 150 years we've been having all these trees. How it's not indigenous to Africa. So they took their plants with them. They took their the ideologies with them. It went with them.
Intangible form. And tangible forms are necessary to make sure the intangible thoughts and the entire Sanatan flows. So you were saying that you have been practicing and the seeds have been brought to for Tulsi, for Bel Patra, and you have been practicing your own thing on your own, maybe not even you, the entire community, the Indian community, the Hindu community over there. So do other people look at you with suspicion, Gacha, these pagan cultures and not the other ones? I mean, that's their habit is, na? To make sure कि okay यार, your god is a devil, you are devil worshippers, Saturn worshippers, and you are worshipping the stones and whatnot. So how do one protect one's own culture with the predators roaming around?
I think when you a Ram Bhakt, Hanuman Bhakt, you get that Shakti, and I'm very straight to the point, and I just, I think having read a lot of the Shastra, having understood the science, knowing that our rishis were scientists, knowing that this is not some kind of black magic or something, we know it's a scientific process, I'm able to answer them. And I'm also able to, I think education around your dharma is important. You shouldn't just leave it as something my mother does or something. You yourself have a responsibility to learn. You can't just say, oh, because my mother did it, I'm doing it. Learn why you are doing certain things, because there's a significance to each ritual, each sanskar, if you're doing it. There's an importance. It wasn't like we're not just doing things just for fun. I think it's important to teach your children and also to teach yourself. And now there are resources available everywhere. There's no excuse that why a Sanatani doesn't know why we are doing what ritual we are doing. And even I think the Panditjis, instead of reading the mantras so quickly and trying to finish the puja 10-15 minutes, he also needs to take his time and explain to the yajmans that, this is why we are doing this. I think it will help. So that, because youngsters are questioning everything, we must be able to answer them.
I understand that, but even if nobody understands it, just doing it. After all, we got it to this day only because our ancestors were just doing it. They might not be able to understand or not understand just because their fathers, their mothers have been doing this.
Yes.
They were doing it. So the most scientific thing that they did is to at least carry it with them in their lives and hand it over to us. Now we can question, fine. Now we can ask, no. But I think they did a better job. Without understanding, they kept on doing it.
Yeah, especially on our side.
Why science? And why only a parameter of science? How big is science? How big is science? I mean, if science is huge, science has whole dimensions and everything. It can explain hell lot of things. But even at some point, it also gets
It
limited.
fails. Science. I'm also
limited.
a scientist only.
Okay.
I have a master's degree in chemistry, but science does fail at some point. All the laws of science will fail at a certain point. And then...
Not fail, but maybe even...
they start...
unable to explain. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it starts behaving abnormally. At that point, there's a certain point where it does something else. It doesn't go on the straight path forever. But, I'm a Shiv yogi, disciple of Avdut Baba Shivanand and Ishan Shivanand. I don't know if you're aware who they are.
Heard a bit.
And So Babaji always says that, Sanatan is a science beyond science. So all the
That's a
science
better
that is here and all the science that in the universe, you will find in Sanatan. So that we begin to understand. He talks a lot about quantum physics and E is equal to mc squared. So from that point I'm being programmed to think, not programmed to think because I am a scientist itself, that our dharma.
expanding your own mind, expanding your
Even
reason.
before joining Shiv Yoga, when I was studying physics and I was studying relativity, I could see that, the link between Sanatan and physics is strong. We're not, unfortunately, the West or the missionaries make people believe that we are a land of, or we come from like magicians and snake charmers, but we're not. We have scientific backings for things that we do.
At least more scientific than Christianity and Islam.
Then Islam, definitely.
They have been killing scientists for a very long time.
Definitely.
In 1992, the church, they asked for this forgiveness to say that okay, we did wrong with Copernicus and Galileo.
And
We are sorry.
Galileo, they killed them for saying that the sun was at the center of the earth.
In 1992.
Even this one religion that is saying the earth is flat up till now.
Let's not go there. They are on a different planet altogether. They are already on a different planet.
So, we would say already in our language it is Bhugol. It's already written.
Bhugol, yes.
We're not saying anything about flat earth. And whatever we had already said, Hanuman Chalisa is full of science. We have said it long
Even
time
the
ago.
story of Bara avatar of Vishnu,
Gee.
it flows through the journey of life that has happened on earth.
Yes.
First it came from the water, the
Matsya
fish,
avatar.
Matsya avatar, then there is amphibian,
Kurma
Kachapa
avatar.
avatar, then
Gee.
there is a animal who Vara avatar, who is bringing life from the waters. So all the stories. Then there is a half man, half human,
Nursing.
a nursing avatar. So that's all. If you see life, Darwin's theory, it fits very well.
It can't be a coincidence.
Huh?
Because these things are we know they're from a long time.
Actually, I should ask questions, but I'm also saying things that in society through generations, science doesn't go to a long generation after generation. The stories go. So our ancestors were geniuses in that form. They took science in stories form and they left it for the generations, so that, let's say, coded science in stories form, and then it is for us to now decode it, and then of course that's what you're saying. So my question is one more thing, of practicing, of course, so but then it is very internal. But when you live in a place like that, any other place, so all those people around you, they must be seeing you differently, because they are very physical in form, white, black, brown, and doing something else, not following all those other things. So does that country perceive Hindus in a macro form? Let's say not individually, but in a macro form. What is the perception? Are they considered good for the country, or are they considered bad for the country? Are they considered what? Well, what do you face being a Hindu?
Well,
The perception of it.
fortunately, the area that I live in was a predominantly Indian area, pre-apartheid. So there we can practice freely.
The area where Gandhi supposedly...
The city where Gandhi supposedly
They should
was
not have thrown him
ejected out.
He should have been on the train and taken to somewhere else.
Yes. So there are a lot of Hindus, lots of mandirs. We have programs. Even the blacks will come. If we invite the politicians, they're coming. So I think there's a good image, because wherever Hindus go, we always build. A lot of seva is being done. We have a Midlands Hindu organization where if there's floods or any natural disasters, that's what we do only. Hindus are always
Kind to others.
kind, giving, building. So I think in that way we have built good relations with the people around us. Yes, you will get people from other groups that will mock us or make fun of us, but I think the thing to do is just be yourself and be strong in your faith in Sri Ram, in Sri Hanuman. You'll be strong, you know. I think you may know of Keshav Maharaj, and you'll see on social media he's Pakka Sanatani, you know. He after every victory he'll put Jai Shri Ram, Jai Bajrangbali. So it's little you need people like that who are not ashamed to be Sanatani. So I also, you know, sometimes on my social media I've got friends from all walks of life, but I will put there Jai Shri Ram, Jai Bajrangbali. And something I noticed when I'd first come to India 20 years ago, people were afraid to say Jai Shri Ram.
20 years ago, as in 25, 2005, 2006, when you came to
people
Ayodhya.
were like, you know, we were like Jai Shri Ram.
People were like, okay, we are Hindus but secular.
And I was like, no,
Not
where
religious.
does Sri Ram come in secularism? He's from Dwapar, you know, what is happening here? You know, now I heard, when I came now, this time I'm hearing Jai Shri Ram, and then I'm seeing Jai Shri Ram. Why did they make that thing secular? You know, how can they make our God secular? You know, he's for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we greet, their Sanatanis are saying Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna amongst each other, you know. We're not afraid of that kind of thing.
So, do Hindus outside of India, maybe even living there for 200, 200 years, whatever, do they still derive energy from what is happening here in India politically? With Modi ji coming in picture?
Definitely. There are many Sanatanis there. Since Modi ji has come, I've noticed like we are aware of what's happening. We get access to the news, and obviously with the developments of Sri Ram Mandir and even the moon landing and all those technological improvements, they definitely get a lot of energy from it. Whatever's happening there, whatever's happening here, we receive positively on that side.
So that energy also reaches there
Gee,
in a nice form.
very good form, energetic. So it's something for people to look up to. That I'm a Sanatani, and you know, this is Modi ji is respected, you know, in most places in the world. He's so revered, and so it gives us also a sense of self-respect that he's not our leader, but we feel like he's our leader.
Of course, in ways he's just a political leader of India, Prime Minister of India, chosen Prime Minister of India, by Indian people only, by Bhartiya people, by Bharat. But it percolates somewhere else as well, I guess. Maybe that's how people living abroad also get some source of strength. Earlier, they used to feel, what was before 2014, let's say? How was it like?
Manmohan ji, no.
Even before that, I mean, the entire the rule of Congress, let's say, in India. So what was that like for people living abroad?
Before that, India, it was easy for people to just make a mockery of India. They would laugh at India only because the people who had been there would say it's so dirty and so difficult, the roads are so bad. And it was. It was like that. And I noticed the change myself when I'd come in 2006, 2008, 2009. When I'd come in 2014 only, Modi ji I was in Goa, and Modi ji was giving his campaign speeches. And I was just listening. I wasn't so interested in Indian politics, but I was just listening to him. And there's something about him that was so magnetic. But if I remember the things that he was saying, he delivered. He talked about every house having a tap, having electricity, having a bathroom. You know, those things where it seemed like, he said, why is this like such a big dream? These things should be easily available for every Indian. And that stuck with me. And then when I came in 2019 and I'd seen the difference in Mumbai, I was like, wow. Look at this place. It has, the airport itself there was a huge difference. Even in Delhi, the airport, I was like, wow, India is really moving forward at a very fast pace, very fast. The roads, the infrastructure, it's amazing. You like, how can I say it?
Now one can look up to India's development and see ki this should happen here as well, or maybe
It should, but unfortunately, South Africa has taken a bit of a nosedive due to the politics currently there. Too much of corruption, too much of mismanagement. So I don't know how much more they want to loot.
Even post Nelson Mandela ji.
Post Nelson Mandela, it was worst, the worst. We had Jacob Zuma and even now Cyril Ramaphosa. Not very good. The country, what was working in Nelson Mandela's time is not working now. All the parastatals have collapsed, like the post office, the trains, even the airlines, I think, are almost like on the brink of...
What, have they been captured by some communist socialist ideology? Is that so? Because only those ideologies can make things worse.
I think it's just greed. They're just there to serve themselves. That's happened in many African states. You'd remember Zimbabwe.
Of course.
Zimbabwe was a first-class country, first-class education. Everything was going well, and then Mugabe decided, no, we must get rid of the white man. You know, as much as we can talk, we can't keep on going back to colonialism. White man did that. He was the bad person, but they were building only.
Even if you're talking about those things, okay, get rid of them, fine. But do you have something better to offer?
And all the skills, I mean, the engineering skills and things, with the white man only, you know. Because he was there and they had built, infrastructure was first class. But many of the towns, even my town, it was amazing. Now, under the ANC government, it's struggling because they're not managing it properly. But they wanted control only. After 1994, they at that time, the white man, it was the National Party, they said, out from everywhere. We're not even going to keep you for a few years to learn how things are done. No, you take every last thing of yours and go. We don't want you here. And I don't think they were managing anything. Very few places have had infrastructure upgrades. But we just hope and pray that the situation will only change when the locals, when the blacks decide this is also not good for us, and they start voting differently.
So, I mean, it's more like a tumultuous times, and things will settle
It is a bit tumultuous, but yeah. Look, there are some sectors that are doing okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. It hasn't reached the Zimbabwe stage. But we will need some intervention.
Okay. And what happens generally when things go south? So generally governments or people start blaming the communities which are doing their own thing, Hindu community particularly, they are doing some jobs. So they start doing this, they have taken our jobs and they have taken our jobs.
That resentment against Indians and Hindus, of course, is there. Because it was blacks were living freely on the land, and then Indians had come as girmityas. And obviously, most of us have managed to establish ourselves there in the country. But they feel that we were favored by the apartheid government, which is not true, because we also did not get education. State-aided education only came out in the 1970s. I think family planning also only came out around there. Before that, our families were also having 10 children, 14 children, like that, you know. So it was very late that state-aided education came in. But when it did come, the Indians that were in charge of the Indians, they made sure there was a school in almost every few hundred meters. There was a school. And then all the children were taking their education right up till grade 12. So that really helped. Education is always the cornerstone of success.
Yes. Definitely.
And Indian children were always excelling at.
Because Indian parents, Bharatiya Hindu parents, are making sure that the children get best education with whatever suffering they have to suffer on their own. But education is very
Education
important.
was non-negotiable.
Hmm.
So I think that really helped us. They were not focused on education. Not everybody. I mean, in the black community, there were a few that did focus on education, but by and large, no. And now the government has really ruined the government education. Most of the children, even the Hindus, are now putting their children into private institutions
Okay.
to maintain a level of a high level of education.
Okay. So now coming to the last question, what do you see from here? Uh, I mean, things getting worse, things getting better, same both things happening at the same time. How do you see?
I think things will get better in South Africa because even now the blacks are realizing that after 30 years we should have been in a good position with all the resources that we have, but we are not. Politicians have stolen our what was meant for us only. If you look at the corruption, they say it runs into trillions of rands. I don't even know what the exact figure is, but it's some ridiculous amount. So I think once their mind changes that we deserve better and they vote differently, I think we can
And
change.
they work accordingly. They work on their own education. They work, get skilled, something like that. Well, be productive, and maybe.
At the moment, unfortunately, they were promised everything for free, so they're not willing to work. So now there's also you believe it, not only anti-Indian sentiment, they're also against foreign, like blacks coming from other countries. They're saying they're here to steal our jobs. But you're having people from Zimbabwe, Mozambique, other countries that are skilled. And obviously, there's no jobs available in their country. So, and even Nigeria, and they're coming into South Africa, but they're very intelligent, and they will do a better job at
What they do.
whatever it is. So, yeah, because obviously South Africa is one of the better off countries in Africa. So, a lot of African migrants are there. Whether they're there legally or illegally, that's another story. But yeah.
And then there is one thought that I'd like to know from you. I mean, do you really feel if we propagate Sanatan, propagate Hinduism, this way of life will make lives of a lot of other people better? Should this happen?
I think it would. Not I think it would. It would. Because Sanatan is the only, I'd say religion, but it's not a religion. We know it's not a religion. But it's the only one where there's no us and them mentality. And the whole universe, the whole world is suffering now because there's the us and them. People are not coming together. We are the only people who say, you come, you Parsi, you come, you Muslim, you welcome, you Christian, you welcome. The other people, it's us, them. We are something, they are not. That it's apartheid wherever. So we are the only ones who say, okay, we must all live together. So I think if everybody adopts the Sanatani mindset, then all the 99% of all the
Issues
wars and struggles that are going on in the world will disappear. Because if you look at the way, if people haven't come to Bharat and if they come and see how it operates, how there are masjids and there are gurdwaras and mandirs and everybody
the
is
lockdown of COVID.
lockdown of COVID and there's so many different languages, but people are just, everybody accommodates everybody because of the mindset. So I think only we as Sanatanis, we have this mindset built that, Vasudev Kutumbakam. That thing is not there I've studied other faiths. That Vasudev Kutumbakam is not there. It's not there. When we pray, we say, we pray for everybody. We're not just for Sanatan, those who are followers of Sanatan. Even our prayers are saying for the whole world that we pray. That's how we pray, you know. May this energy go to the whole world. So I think that is what is needed in this time. I also believe that those people who are not able to follow this, I think they will perish. Because we're coming to that time now where things may get difficult. And we have to come together as people, as nations, as races, whatever. We have to come together. And if people can't see that, can't see past your religion, they can't see past your race or your nationality, I don't think they'll make it.
Considering oneself as a part of the world and other as well as a part of the world. And of course, nobody special, nobody lesser, better, just different. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So thank you, Sudhika ji. Thank you for this amazing insights that you have shared with us, and not only insights but also your own life experiences, what you live, that you have shared with us. It will come handy to a lot of our people, of our listeners in this podcast. सो दर्शकों, आज की चर्चा का यह समापन है और उम्मीद है कि आप लोगों को यह बातें कुछ न कुछ देकर ही जा रही होंगी. आप भी, आपके क्या विचार हैं, आप हमसे साझा करें कमेंट्स में. और आपसे यह रिक्वेस्ट, कृपया वीडियो लाइक करें, शेयर करें और चैनल ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें. प्रारब्ध. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सुधिका जी.
जय श्री राम.
जय श्री राम.